Hello, welcome to topic 7.3, special right triangles, part 2. We learned about the 45, 45, 90 last lesson. This is the 30, 60, 90, which is another special right triangle. The magic numbers of today are root 3 and 2. So before we get into it, what is root 3? Root 3 is not quite root 4. Okay, so it's not quite 2. So root 3 is 1.7, about 1.7. So root 3 is about 1.7. So keep that in mind. Okay, so just like in the last lesson, we're either going to multiply by root 3 or divide by root 3, depending on the scenario. And then 2, we're either going to double or we're going to halve. We're either going to multiply by 2 or we're going to divide by 2. All right, so where do these numbers come from? Well, it comes from a equilateral triangle. If you remember, an equilateral triangle has all the same lengths and it has 60 degrees. Okay, there's where the 60 in the 30, 60, 90 comes from. You're probably saying that's not a right triangle. Those are all 60-degree angles. Well, if we draw down the altitude, we get a right angle. And it splits the 60 into 30 and 30. Therefore, we get a 30, 60, 90. All right, so watch what happens in this scenario. Let's say I want to, let's say this is a regular triangle where this would be 10, this would be 10, and this would be 10. So right there, we can see the double relationship. If I split this into 5 and 5, we have 5 and 10. We have a right triangle. This is 60 and this is 30. The big question is, what is x? What's this length right here? Okay, so what we can do is we can just look at this one. 60, 30, 5, 10. There's that double relationship when I said that one of the magic numbers today was 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So there's the 2 that we're talking about. And then what about this? Remember last lesson, we want to get bigger. This side here is bigger than this side. So we got to multiply by something. We got to multiply this by something to get here. Let's figure out what it is. What is the number that pops out of here? So let's work this out. We're going to get a different color. So let's do the Pythagorean theorem. We have x squared plus 5 squared equals 10 squared. X squared plus 25 equals 100. X squared equals 75. X is the square root of 75, which can be broken down into 25 times 3, which is 5 root 3. There's our other number for the day, 5 root 3. This x right here is simply 5 root 3. Look at that. Just like in the last lesson, if we want to take this shorter leg and use it to get to the bigger part, you have to multiply. In this case, we have to multiply by root 3. Okay, so to sum this up, kinda, if we were to do this, if this was your scenario and you had x like this, and this was x, and this was 60, and this was 30, and this was a 30, 60, 90 with short leg x, you have to multiply by 2 to get to the hypotenuse, and you have to multiply by root 3 to get to this, x root 3. So there it is, okay? Or in other words, for 30, 60, 90, the hypotenuse is 2 times the short leg, and the long leg is root 3 times the short leg. If this is a, how do I want to write this? Short leg, long leg, 30 and 60. 30 is the smaller, so it's going to be across from the short leg. This is your hypotenuse. These two right here are related with root 3. So you either divide or multiply. If I'm going from here to here, I multiply. If I'm going from here to here, I divide. If I want to take a short leg and make it bigger, I multiply. If I want to take a long leg and make it shorter, I divide. And then the relationship here is 2. This is a double relationship. The hypotenuse and the short leg are going to be doubled. If this is 10, this is 5. If this is 1,000,000, this is half of 1,000,000. If this is 100 right here, this is 200 right here. So if this is 100, this is 200, and this is 100 root 3. Kind of similar to the last lesson. Same things apply. If you want to make something bigger, you multiply. If you want to make something smaller, you divide. Okay, we're going to go do some examples. Here we go. Here's my short leg. It's a 30, 60, 90. To get to the hypotenuse, I double. This is just 20. To get to the long leg, I have to multiply because it's longer. We can use 10 and multiply. It's 10 root 3. So there you have it. If you really want to check your work in your calculator, you can. Let's do 10 squared plus, in parentheses, 10 root 3. In parentheses, squared. So that's 10 squared plus 10 root 3 squared. Okay, and then what's 20 squared? And it's the same thing. That's what we need, that's what we want. We want a squared plus b squared equal to c squared. So there we have it. Okay, let's do some more. It's all about that short leg, isn't it? Everything's based off the short leg. The long leg is root 3 times the short leg. The hypotenuse is just 2 times the short leg. And there's a little bit of a rhyme there. Hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is times 2. Hypotenuse times 2. Hypotenuse times 2. Hypotenuse times 2. Okay, we have the short leg. So very quickly, long leg, root 3, hypotenuse, double, done. That's it. All done. Over here, short leg, 5 root 6, hypotenuse, doubled, 10 root 6, doubled. Long leg gets a root 3. So we get a 5 root 6, and it gets a root 3. But what is that? What is 5 root 6 root 3? That's the same as 5 root 18, which is the same as 5 root 9 times 2, which is the same as 5 root 3 root 2, which is the same as, oh, I got that wrong. 5 root 9 root 2, which is the same as 5 times 3 root 2, which is the same as 15 root 2. Turns into that. But really, it's just times root 3. It's this times root 3. Okay, over here. Let's see here. For this one, we double it. So this is 2 root 3 over 3. To double it, you just do 4 root 3 over 3. That is now doubled. Put a 2 on the top. I doubled the top. That doubles the whole thing. And then this one is 2 root 3 root 3 over 3. See how I tacked on an extra root 3? Because that's what you do. We had to multiply by root 3, which ends up being 2 times 3 over 3. That's right. This just simplifies to 3. And then those cancel out, and I'm just left with 2. So y is equal just to 2 in that picture. Okay, so this whole scenario was use the short leg to find the hypotenuse and long leg. That's probably the easiest scenario. You're just multiplying and you're multiplying. multiply by 2, multiply by root 3, multiply by 2, multiply by root 3, multiply by 2, multiply by root 3. Okay, taking it up just a hair is giving you the hypotenuse, but it's pretty straightforward. Go to the short leg first. 14 is double the short leg. So this is just 7, and this is just 7 root 3. That's it. Hypotenuse is 4 root 2's, so this is half of that. So this would be 2 root 2's. It's half. And this is 2 root 2 root 3. Doubled. Root 3. Okay, we can work this out though. So actually we need to write this as 2 root 6. Those are my answers for that one. You can put root 2 and root 3 together to make root 6. Okay, same idea here. Hypotenuse is double the short leg. So if this is 2 root 2's, then this is just 1 root 2. And this is root 2 root 3, which is root 6. Those are my answers for that one. Okay. Oh, wait a second. This is back to a 45, 45, 90. And in this one, I use the magic number of root 2. So going back to the previous lesson. So yeah, I've switched it up on you. This was 30, 60, 90. This one's 45, 45, 90. So for 45, 45, 90, the magic number is root 2. Okay. Is y and x smaller than 6 or larger than 6? It's smaller. So when we decrease, we divide. When you take 6 and decrease to get here, you divide. This is simply 6 divided by root 2. Oh, shoot. We cannot do 6 divided by root 2. You have to multiply like that. 6 root 2 over 2. And then these can make 3. So it is 3 root 2. Final answer. Okay, now probably the more complicated of the 3 is when they give you the long leg. They give you the long leg. So what you have to do, if you have the long leg, you have to divide out a root 3 to get to the short leg. So divide the root 3, that just leaves you a 2, and then you double it to get to the hypotenuse. It's doubled. This is 6, and this is 12. Done. I had to divide to get down to this part, because it's smaller. So I divided, because it was smaller, divided by root 3. Divided by root 3, and then you double. Root 3 and 2. Those are our magic numbers of the day, remember? Root 3 and 2. Okay. What happens when I take a root 3 out of this? I just end up with 9 over 2. And what happens when I double this? I just end up with 9. Done. Look at this next one. I tricked you. This was 30, 60, 90. Now I went back to 45, 45, 90. For root 2. When I'm dealing with 45s, root 2 is the magic number. And it needed to be bigger, so I had to multiply by root 2. So you have to get these numbers in your head. 45, 45, 90, magic numbers root 2. 30, 60, 90, magic numbers are root 3 and just regular 2. This is going to take some practice. You have to think about it. More practice, the better. It's not to go do your homework. I have the homework video for you. That's all you need. Bye. That was weird.